because time doesn't. It doesn't. It's just a unit of measure that man has created. But the truth is, it's all.
But that was a very interesting
Things keep changing. Yeah, it is. Time is a concept that somebody came up with. We got Greenwich Mean right out here out of London. I took my kids there. It's right there. It's a fabulous place you got to visit. When they started measuring it, everything started in England in the civilized world. And they went there. You could go and they moved the Greenwich Mean Time. Has been moved like 20. And it goes.
Sorry?
Did you say Greenwich?
Yeah,
Greenwich Island,
Greenwich.
In Greenwich.
Yeah, you know they have the timeline. You can stand on it.
Is that in New York?
No. Is that in Greenwich where the cat is?
Yeah.
It's
a Greenwich Mean Time is.
It's a great tour to take.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I thought that was in New York.
That's just naval college, and is it a naval college or something?
Yeah, I know that. Is it in there?
Yeah, it's on the grounds there, on the hill. Yeah.
And it goes back, oh God,
I know,
150 years.
I know a question that I wanted to ask.
But it's you should go visit it. We went there on a boat. You go down the Thames and you get off, and it's a lovely little thing we had.
You come over, Jade. You can come over because I'm very near there.
Yeah, I always do it. My boys always go on the little boat. My mum always takes them if she hasn't. She takes them on the boat from Shed Thames all the way wherever about.
Yeah, we did. We were tourists, so we did all that.
Greenwich, I've been Greenwich plenty of times. We used to go there for like picnics and stuff. But I didn't know
that big all the fields. But right up there, you can go there and they tell you the tour, and then it helps with the idea concept of time.
We went to Tower of London and
well, time is the units of time. They all different time zones. You know, if you go from here to New York, it's all it all is measured.
You know what I mean? I go down to Topshop, buy something.
Here in London, right here. There's a timeline that goes from the top of the world to the bottom, and it's the meridian.
Is that because we're in the middle of the whole world?
Well, that's a good question. Why? How did England? How did that become?
I mean, they could have had it. So many more questions.
They could have had it. It's because the British invented it. They came up with the whole thing, so it was drawn right there. It's because there was a king that wanted to know. Oh God!
The British King Canute wanted to push back the sea.
No. It's one of the kings of England. It was Henry or King Henry the something. He wanted to know when he's.
Breakfast.
I don't want to go off, but it's fascinating. And he's the guy. He put his smartest guys on it, and they came up so he would know because. So
you were better off not knowing.
They realized there was a different because when you went to a different time, if you went to Europe, went to France, the sun was coming up at a different time, you know, and he wanted to understand that. And he also had ships all over the world, and he knew that. The sun was in a different position, so they wanted to have a unit where they could measure all this.
So when did people wake up before they knew the time?
When the sun.
When the sun rose.
You know, the people's lives used to. That's why they went.
Well, if they was asleep, how did they see the sun?
Yeah, they went to bed with the sun, and then when the sun went to bed, they went to bed.
In those days, they didn't have electricity; they just had candles.
That's why That's why people appreciate the sunrise when it goes down.
And there used to be a lot of festivals. That's why in the summertime you harvested, you did all your work, and in wintertime you rested and you did knitting and you did farmers worked on their fences and their barns. And
I liked my question.
And they laid away all their food for the winter to get through the winter, and then they would go through it. So it was a quieter time.
You two.
We weren't.
You were laughing at me.
We weren't. We were laughing with you.
That's why in the winter your body naturally puts on weight. In cold times, your body, you get hungrier. I don't know if you notice it. I know.
That's an excuse.
Your appetite goes up because
it does. Stores.
To put on, naturally your body wants to put on fat for warmth. You know, you need heat. So you'll start craving heavier, saltier food and more food generally, more calories. And in the summer, your appetite changes. You just want a salad, you want this, you want that, and you don't usually.
I just eat shit constantly.
That was a great question.
That was a good question.
That was a great question. Much better than my stupid question, but...
Yeah, not quite as good as my question.
Time stops still when you go in the Big Brother house.
With Jade comes to the
Go Jade! Go Jade! Go Jade!
I have a fascination with Eskimos.
I said she should talk to you, but I said I
don't know nothing about them.
I've read a little.
Those that watch Big Brother.
Do you know they did studies? They've done studies on the Eskimo. First of all, the Eskimo diet is totally carnivorous, almost.
What happens?
Carnivorous. They eat almost.
Meat.
Their diet.
They only eat fish. They make a little and they fish.
No, fish or meat. They eat caribou. They eat bear. They eat walrus. They eat seal.
You can't eat polar bear. Polar bear's poisonous.
No, this is not true. They eat fish. So I always said, because people argue that being a vegetarian is quote unquote the healthiest thing to be. And I said, well, what about the Eskimos? Because they studied the Eskimos and they're one of the healthiest people. Before the white man showed up and introduced sugar, they had no sugar. The only sugar they had berries in like August. They would get a few berries. And other than that, their diet was, and they did studies of them. They had no cholesterol problem. They had, not only that, they studied their blood. And the Eskimos are on the natural diet, had a lot of vitamin C, which comes from fruit. No. So the scientists said, wait a minute, they don't eat any fruit. Where did this vitamin C come from? And that's a really complicated subject, but
chocolate sauce,
they were extremely healthy.
Well, that whole world just didn't like it. I just think, like, when we diet, we either get burnt or we either go underground. What happens to them? Do they just like froze up and
I don't know. I think they do.
Do their eyes stick together? Because if they blink, because your eyes have got
that happened to me.
Does that stick
used to happen to me going to school.
I love my nickname.
In Montana, it would be 30 below zero, and I'd be walking, and your eyes would tear, and sometimes they would freeze, and you go, they would, because the water would hit instant. Yeah. We used to pee, and it would freeze before it hit the snow.
I want to go and pee in Montana.
So.
I want to go and pee in Montana.
Yeah, it's a thrill.
I want to meet Eskimo.
That's funny. I want to pee in Montana. But you know, the Eskimos.
I will do.
Do you know an Eskimo?
I want to go and pee in Montana.
Think, no.
Behind a bush.
My brother did. My brother lived in Alaska for 10 years.
Twice.
That's nice.
So an Eskimo's everywhere. But the Eskimos, like the Indians, you know, the teepee people. When the white man came, he brought sugar and alcohol, and it destroyed them. They had no tolerance for alcohol. The Indians in Montana are like, they're all drunk. They have no tolerance for alcohol and sugar. It's a big problem. Diabetes is running rampant. Alcoholism on the reservations in Montana is
I want to meet an Eskimo. I really
they can't tolerate. They can't tolerate it. But the Eskimos, they studied them and they figured out that.
So what is your round-up question? They were getting bored of me. I was like, okay, then how comes they don't turn to ice cubes? But that was my answer. But I wanted to know, what does happen through the Bermuda Triangle? Because I said, why is it a triangle and not a square? And how can an aeroplane with like hundreds of people on it just disappear and nowhere?
It's supposed to be a hole.
A hole where?
It's supposed to be a magnetic field.
Yeah.
Apparently, it just sucks.
I think it's a myth.
Sucks you where?
It's not. It's not. It's true.
But what does it do? Suck you where? Like where? Where?
It just goes in.
Pilots won't.
But nobody knows.
They'll go around.
I think in the old days there were tornadoes and hurricanes. They just went into them and disappeared.
No, but you know what? I saw.
No, there was an airplane.
Why has nobody gone into it recently?
Because you just disappear.
Because they don't come back.
No one really goes to Bermuda anymore. It's desperate for people to go there.
Are you on the internet?
Yeah.
You can go read that Inuit thing. You can go in and punch in and you get all kinds of information.
What, just put Bermuda Triangle?
Put Eskimo. Oh, no, the Eskimo.
Oh, Eskimo, yeah. I'm interested in the Eskimo.
Thing is all kinds of information.
I'm interested in the Eskimo.
Yeah. They're fascinating culture.
I'd like to meet an Eskimo.
There's a few pockets.
Because that's what I said, like, have they not got a government? Because, you know, people from Far East countries or from wherever, they always leave their country if it's not the best to go to a different country and whatever it is. But the Eskimos, do they have a man that says to them, or a woman, you are not leaving this freezing cold country, you will be wearing these clothes which are made from seals and stuff for the rest of your life. You're not allowed to go anywhere because you never hear of a boat or a plane or a bus load of Eskimos.
They still exist. There's some of them that are still, the white man still comes in and out, and some of them live, but some of them have chosen to stay and they're there. And now some they cheat a little bit with propane heaters and stuff, but they still are living the same life, trying to live the same life. But most of them are living in these houses. They're people have houses. They're brought in and they live there. And they.
Oh, so they have houses now. Yeah. I thought. I think of it as just ice with igloos.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you there, Audrey.
I want to go. I'm gonna go. I promise you. I want to talk to
feel cold.
It'd be like thinking, you know, I don't know. It's like in America. There's the Indian cowboys and Indians or whatever. I mean, it's all gone. There's still pockets of them where they're trying to live the traditional life.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Because I read about them.
He's interested in them as well.
Are there mermaids really? Big Brother?
Yeah, mermaids.
Really mermaids?
Mermaids. That was my other one.
Was that your other one?
Where? mermaids, because you know, like everyone says there was a Santa. I believe that there was a Santa
Me
one
too.
man. I really do believe that.
I
and
still
now
do.
I believe that now Santa's